What is up, everybody? It's Nicholas, and I am excited to finally bring about the conclusion of the epic trilogy that is the videos about my Arozzi Verona Pro. The reason that I'm excited about this is because I made a video 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago now, wow, of me getting my Arozzi Verona Pro and being just so excited. And at that time, it was the first nice chair I had gotten. So, keep that in mind. It was the first nice chair I had gotten, and it was amazing. I had been using like Staples office chairs, and moving even up to this, which it was like 3 times the price of a normal office chair, was so amazing. And a lot of people were looking at that chair for the price point, because it was like, I got it for like $170, which, spoiler alert for later on in this video, I think is an amazing deal still. But I wanted to make this video because it has now been almost 3 whole years since I got that chair. How is it held up? How is it doing? Why do I now have a Secret Labs chair? Why am I not still, I'm just gonna throw that there, I was gonna try to put it back on. Why am I not using my Arozzi Verona Pro anymore? For one big reason. While the Arozzi Verona Pro is still in my office, it's actually right over here, and it is still a backup chair for when Trent comes over, and if Trent's over here for like a meeting with our work and stuff, he sits in it. I still have it here. It still works, still functions perfectly, but it wasn't giving me the support I needed for how long I was sitting here. You guys know I got a standing desk not too long ago. Well, quite a while ago now, but I got the standing desk, and I use that a lot. But the problem is that I don't want to have to stand up just to be able to get comfort, okay? When I am sitting down, I need comfort too. That's one of the places that the Arozzi Verona Pro really fell flat on, was comfort, and just how it supported my body. Because I have back problems as it is, and I don't need that getting any worse. The Secret Labs chair, and this is not a video about the Secret Labs chair, maybe. There's enough videos out there about the Secret Labs Titan. I'm not opposed to making a video about it, but this is not what it is. I'm just comparing the two. For a $160 chair, I will say this, the Arozzi Verona Pro has held up amazing. Like there's a couple little spots where stuff is peeling, like with the actual like covering over the upholstery of the chair. I don't know what you want to call that. The pleather is like peeling off. But the pillows are still just as plush as they were. Maybe the back pillow's a little bit squished, but I can't. Anybody that has asked me, do I recommend this chair? For the price point, yes. It is an amazing chair, and I feel like if you're sitting in a Staples office chair, this is a huge step up from this. Or from that, sorry. Now, the other question I always get asked is, or at least when I used to use it, is why does my chair only have one arm? The one thing that has actually broken on this, on mine, I have another experience I will talk about, but I'm going to wait on that until a little bit further into the video. It actually, so when I lift myself up, because I'd like sit on my legs, like almost like crisscross in my chair, and I would lift myself up on my arms of my chair, which is not good, obviously. I actually stripped out some of the threading on one of the, or on both the screws underneath the arm, as you guys can see, and it was becoming a problem, and I could have went and got replacement bolts for it. I probably could have asked Arozzi for replacement bolts. I'm sure they would have just sent me some bolts. I'm sure it wouldn't have been a huge deal, but at the time I was actually getting in and out of my chair from a very small space, like a very small area. So like being able to not have to like turn the chair and then sit down and then turn the chair back was nice. So I left it that way. But that is something to keep in mind. It was technically a failure of the materials. It did technically come off. If I hadn't wanted to keep it off, I wouldn't have been able to put it back on. But yeah, material wise, I couldn't believe it. Like this chair, all the stitching is still in amazing shape. It's just, like I said, for a $168 chair, $170 chair, this thing has held up amazing. And I know some people are like, $170, that's not that expensive for an office chair. If you guys know about Secret Labs, that's like the next step up. And then if you know about like Herman Miller, those are like crazy expensive. And obviously we've looked at them on stream. They're stupid expensive, but they're meant to be better for you long term for sitting in. Just like why I spent the amount of money I did on my standing desk is so that I can keep my health, because my health is very important to me and I don't want to pay for doing desk work later in life, and that's what I'm trying to avoid. And honestly, if I hadn't gotten my job that I knew I was going to be sitting for longer periods of time to work, I probably wouldn't have bought the chair, the Secret Labs, but I needed something that was going to continue to support me. I had gotten almost 3 years out of the Arozzi Verona Pro. The only part that really started to bother me was the bolsters underneath the bolstering, whatever you want to call it, the straps that are underneath the seat. If you've ever sat on a cheap office chair from like Staples and eventually like you feel the plywood underneath, there's no like plywood underneath this, but there are straps that eventually do start digging into your legs, especially if you're heavier set. And there's no real way to fix that. That is the problem. It is just one of those things that eventually it does start to wear down. Now, I will say, I am not the only one that I know that had this chair. Trent also had the chair, the exact same one. I think his was the V2. I believe mine is, yeah, mine's the Pro V1. His is the Pro V2, I believe. Don't really think it had much difference. But the back on his, and I'll put the pictures up if I can find them. The welds on the back actually broke, and I asked him, I said, what did you do? Because I know he doesn't like, I just hit my tripod. He doesn't like jump around in his chair or anything. And he said all he did was like, he like pushed back, like himself back, and it actually snapped the weld. And he is like heavier than me, but he's not like crazy heavy or anything. Arozzi, the weld where it broke, you could tell it might have just been a bad weld. Honestly, it could have. But Arozzi did immediately, as soon as we contacted them, they asked us for pictures. But after we showed them everything and they figured out and like what was the problem, he had the back to his chair within like a reasonable amount of time for something that's a support item like that. But he still had to use a different chair for a while, so keep that in mind. As fast as they get it to him, unless they are going to overnight it to you, you are still going to be without your chair for a while. It could have been a fluke, but I do feel like I need to tell you guys this because it is something that happened with the chair. It didn't happen to me, but like I said, it is the same chair. I'm just trying to think of everything I can talk about with this because this is the final video of like, I'm no longer using this chair. What can I tell you guys? The armrest held up great. Everything has held up great. The casters, literally, like I said, besides some squeaking when like you rock back and forth, which I have yet to have a chair that, like even my Secret Labs, I'm sure it's going to eventually start squeaking like when you do the little rocky thing back and forth and it clicks and pops. I would be surprised if my Secret Labs doesn't start doing it. I've just become accustomed to it. But yes, material-wise, everything has held up awesome. Besides that one weld break on Trent's chair that, like I said, could be a fluke. It could be an actual design flaw. I don't know. To me, it looked like a bad weld when I looked at it, but I'm also not a welder, but it looked like a bad weld. Take that for what it's worth. After 3 years, approximately, of use, do I recommend the Arozzi Verona Pro? This is the final video, the final verdict. If you, because I've seen people ask me, should I buy it for this price? And it's like $300, and I'm like, no, don't buy it for $300. For $300, you can get better chairs. You can get a Secret Labs for $300. I believe you can actually almost get the Titan for $300. Save up a little bit more and get a Titan if you're looking at them for like $300. But if you find them for the price I did on Massdrop for like $170, these chairs are amazing. Going from a Staples office chair to my Arozzi Verona Pro was like going from my Arozzi Verona Pro to my Secret Labs chair. So yes, anybody that ever asks me what chair brand they should look at, I always tell them if you can find an Arozzi Verona Pro for cheap, like under $200, it's a great deal for the amount of time you're gonna get out of it, at least with me. And I used it a lot, you guys know this. I was streaming, I was sitting in it all day. I used it even in the living room. When I had my office downstairs, I'd wheel it down the hallway and out into the living room to sit and play video games. That thing held up amazing. And I can't think of a reason not to recommend it to people. Like I said, if you're heavier set, maybe you should look at something more well built. But myself, I've had no problems. And I am 200 pounds, okay? You've heard it here for, well, I'm not quite 200 pounds, but I'm about 200 pounds. 6 foot tall. If this helps you out, 6 foot tall, about 200 pounds. like 190 on a really bad day. Design wise, and this is for all racing chairs, if you like to sit with like your leg up on the chair, as you're seeing me do in this unflattering shot, it does have these wings that they're supposed to like caress you, but they do hurt the side of your leg, so just keep that in mind. All right, so the final video, the conclusion of the trilogy of the Arozzi Verona Pro. I do recommend it still. I do like the chair a lot. It's not a bad chair. It is a cheaper chair still. In the grand scheme of things, it is a cheap chair. It's something, an office chair is something that you should spend money on because it is investing in your health. If you're sitting on a Staples office chair, this is a step up from that. But there are still things that are better out there. Like the Secret Labs Titan that it just feels better on my body, giggity, when I sit in it for long periods of time. But it's still, even that isn't a great office chair. So, if you guys are looking at the chair, let me know if I influenced you guys' thoughts, because like I said, it's a great chair. I do recommend it, but it is still just a sub $200 chair. So, alright guys, I'd really appreciate it if you'd subscribe if you're not already. Leave me a like if you liked the video, leave me a dislike if you disliked it. Leave me a comment down below, let me know what you liked or what you disliked about the video, or if you ended up picking up an Arozzi Verona Pro since I shot my original video. All of your comments really do help me out. They help me kind of realize what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, and what I need to change in the future. So I really appreciate it. Alright guys, I will see you in the next video. Gooba!